Hello, everybody. It is Health Coach Tip Tuesday. Welcome, everybody. Are you putting a lot of effort into finding clients, but you're not getting any? Or maybe you just do not know where to start? Today's topic is super awesome. We are going to be talking about the 3 C's to finding and enrolling clients with Jenn Malecha. And I am super excited for you to join me. So welcome to Health Coach Tip Tuesday, where every week we share tips, tools, and resources so that you can confidently solve your clients' health issues and grow your career as a health coach or professional. My name is Piper Gibson, and I am your host. And for those of you that are just joining us, I want you to drop the word client below this video, and we are going to send you an amazing handout today with 10 tips and tools for creating an online coaching business. So this is going to be great for all health coaches and professionals. So make sure to drop the word client below. So joining me today is Jenn Malecha. How are you, Jenn?
I am doing fantastic today, Piper. I'm full of wonder and grace as we are closing out the year and getting started to, kick off 2021. And I'm really excited to be here as a business mentor to this community. For those of you who may not know me, I'm part of the advisory board for FDN and FDN Thrive, and I often offer regular business mentoring resources and tools and guidance within our graduate community, our AFDNP community, and I'm excited to be here and share some of those things with everybody that's watching today too.
Yeah, and I think this is a great topic. I love our Business Health Coach Tip Tuesdays because I think it gives everybody some amazing insights into how to really grow a successful health coaching practice.
Exactly. And I remember being a new, health coach and FDN practitioner myself and really struggling in some of these areas. And it took me a while to, really figure it out and get it, spending, hours and tons of money on training. And not all of that time and money spent was extremely useful. So the things that I like to share are the things that I found along the way that had the biggest impact on helping me to build a successful 6-figure business, health coaching practice, and basically giving our audience here the cliff notes on what some of those things are, the things that are going to help them to really move the needle and to start finding and enrolling clients and developing their business. So it's always great to join you on a monthly basis here, Piper, to be able to share these things.
Well, let's start out with, what is the first C of the 3 C's?
Yes, definitely. So the first C to finding and enrolling clients is sharing a clear message. Now, this is where I too struggled in the beginning, and I see a lot of new health coaches and practitioners, and even ones who have been in business for a while, they really struggle with this part. And what tends to happen is that we're such science nerds. We are all excited about the logistics, the technicalities of what it is that we do, and we tend to talk about those things, but those are not necessarily the things that resonate with our ideal clients or the potential clients that are out there. So we want to create a clear message that speaks directly to them when they hear us talk, when they see our blogs, our content that we're putting out there. They feel like, oh yes, that's me too. That's exactly what I'm experiencing. This person knows what I'm going through. And so the easiest way to start to clearly define your clear message is by reflecting on your own story. Now, most of us have gotten into this line of work as a health coach or an FDN practitioner because we've had a health journey ourselves, or maybe we have watched our family and our friends go through a health journey. Like I know for you, Piper, it was your son and helping him with some of his health issues. But through that process, we have gained this experience that's going to speak directly to the person that we want to work with. And our ideal clients are going to be a reflection of us. So our clear messaging is going back, reflecting on our story, understanding who we are as a person, what makes us unique as a person. What are some of the behaviors and the characteristics that we have? If you think about it, you have your circle of friends because you share things in common. Like you have, similar personality traits, that you view the world in similar ways. You have similar values or morals. And the same thing is said to be true about our clients. Like the law of attraction is real. And so we want to clearly define who our ideal person is by looking at some of our own personality traits and experiences in the world. And then also looking at our story and looking to see, like, well, what were some of the common challenges or struggles that we faced, during our journey that now our ideal person is experiencing too. And you are best designed to help them with these specific struggles and challenges because you also have had them and you're in a process or you have already overcome them. And then also looking back at your story when you were in the midst of what might have been going on with your health journey or with a family member that you were helping out, and looking at what exactly was it that you wanted? What did you wake up wishing that you had every day? Like, what is the solution that you were searching for, the transformation that you were hoping to experience? So when we look at these three pieces of our story, we can really get clear on who our ideal client is and what the clear message is that we're out there to share. So for example, my elevator pitch or my one-liner is that I help busy, health-minded professionals and getting their hands on the right lab tests and resources so that they can finally find the missing pieces to their health puzzle and get back to feeling like themselves again, or for the very first time. Now, the first part of that sentence basically described who I am as a person, a busy, health-minded professional. I've been a busy person my whole life. I was the kid that was doing all the AP classes in elementary through high school. I was playing sports. I was participating in social things. That continued on throughout my life, like working 12-hour days and meeting up with girlfriends to have drinks and then going to the gym in the morning, like always busy, yet always kind of mindful of my health. But my struggle is that I wasn't feeling like my best self. I got to a point where I didn't feel at home in my body anymore. And all I, was going to the doctor trying to find, out what was going wrong with me. And there was just pieces of the puzzle that were missing. Like typical blood tests were not revealing really any insights for me. And so I was on this constant search to get my hands on the right lab tests and resources, which is where I then found FDN, which basically gave me those missing pieces of my health puzzle. And all I ever wanted, like what I had been longing for all along, was that I just wanted to feel like at home in my body again. So I help people, get back to feeling like themselves again too. So we can take these pieces of our story and chunk them down to these highlights to describe who our ideal client is, which is then the center or the core of our marketing message that we put out there. And this is what people are going to read or hear and see from us. And they're going to say, that's me. And you know exactly how I feel. And I need to work with you.
Yeah, that's something that you really helped me to do, was to get clear on my elevator pitch and what I was going to say and encompass. And so I help scared, frustrated, overwhelmed parents whose children are struggling with neurodevelopmental disorders get access to the tools and testing they need in order to get their child back. And that's really clear and concise, and it speaks to those people who were in the same position.
Exactly.
That I was.
Yes. I could see how so many parents out there would be feeling that way. They're at that same point that you were, that are looking for somebody like you, just like you were looking for FDN that helped us solve those problems, right?
Absolutely. I would love to know, I know we've got a lot of people watching. I would love to know how many of you out there, either you're a health coach or a professional, maybe you're looking at becoming a health coach or professional, how many of you have your own story that you can actually turn around and use for your very own number
definitely.
1C of the 3 C's?
And share in there too, like
Let
some of the
us
things
know.
that might be coming up for you. Like, what are some of the personality traits that describe who you are? What are some of the common struggles or challenges that you faced, throughout your journey in this time? And what is it that you really wanted? Like, this is where we also want to use language that is going to speak to our clients. So we have a tendency, like even in this place, to use words like, oh, get my vitality back or my vibrance back. And the reality is that you probably didn't wake up out of bed every morning going, gosh, I just wish I could get my vitality back, right? You probably said something more to the effect of, I just wanted to get my energy back, or I wanted to feel at home in my body again, or I wanted to be able to perform in life like I thought that I could or like I used to, right? So we also want to use simplistic words. We want to get away from these fancy words that we think give us credibility, because what really happens is that our clients glaze over them. Also, we want to be mindful of addressing specific conditions. As health coaches or as FDN practitioners, we really can't make any claims on solving specific conditions because we're not licensed practitioners. And even when we address specific conditions, sometimes there's still a huge spectrum of people. A great example of this is that I was mentoring an FDN practitioner, and she wanted to work in the area of fibromyalgia because that was part of her personal health journey. But what she was finding was that she was attracting a lot of people with fibromyalgia that weren't really ready to commit their time or invest the money in what it would take to actually participate in her programs and to heal themselves in the same way that she did. And so we look at the spectrum of people within a condition. We have these different stages of change, right? And those different stages of change are like the people that are unaware to the people who are ready to take, brave and bold action, or basically the two opposite ends of the spectrum. So part of what we really want to do in this, when we're thinking about this clear messaging, is really hone in on, that place in the spectrum that these people are ready to take action. So like Piper, you did that by describing how parents are overwhelmed and frustrated. Like they've reached their breaking point. They're at a place where they're like, looking for alternative solutions because they probably have tried all the conventional things and nothing over there was working. And now they're at their wits' end and they're ready to try anything outrageous or out of the box or even cost-wise in order to get their kid back, right? And my people are kind of at that same place too, is that they are, they want to get their hands on the right lab tests and resources to find the missing pieces of their health puzzle because nothing else has been able to solve their problem. They've tried paleo diets, they've tried AIP diets, they've tried working with other practitioners, these singles oriented solutions, and nothing was really working for them. So they're definitely at that breaking point as well, where they're just like, I just want to get back into my body again. So we want to have clear messaging that speaks to exactly, like I said earlier, that person that we really want to work with.
Absolutely. Before we move on to the second C, I want to encourage everybody watching to drop the word client below this video. We have an amazing tool for you today. It's called 10 Tips and Tools for Your Online Coaching Business. Great for anybody who is a professional, practitioner, a health coach. So make sure to drop the word client below this video. We want to make sure that you get your hands on that resource today.
Mm-hmm.
Jen, what is C number 2?
Perfect. So let's talk about C number 2. So C number 1 really addresses more of the finding the client aspects. And so if we have this clear, message that we're sharing, that's going to help us, like I said, attract the people that we want to be working with. And so now let's talk about C number 2, which really is directly related to the enrollment piece, like how to find and enroll clients is what we're talking about today. So C number 2 is to offer concise packages. So what does that mean, concise? Concise packages means like nice and tidy and organized, as well as clear and standardized, right? That we can confidently be able to communicate what our packages are, and then we're organized when we do that, and it comes across in the same way to the client. So this is something that I really emphasize too. One of the things that I see a lot of health practitioners and coaches doing is that we're so passionate about the work that we do. We want to help everybody. And in some cases, we can help a lot of people, but it's not realistic to think that we can help everybody. And the reason for this is if we go back to our story again, we, based on our experiences in life and who we are as a person, we are uniquely designed to help a specific segment of the population. And if you've done any or much marketing and business training yourself, then you would know that the best and most successful businesses actually really hone in on 3% of the marketplace. 3%, right? And that's where we want to start. Eventually, when you go 3% and you gain a lot of following and traction, maybe you go global. If we think about somebody like Dave Asprey is a really great example. Like he honed in on this biohacking niche, which was 3%, specifically on this bulletproof, coffee bandwagon. And his story was largely centered around mold and like what was going on with his body. Now you see Dave Asprey's bulletproof products in places like Walmart and Target, but that's not where he started, right? So in order to start and gain traction, we really want to hone in on 3% and create a foundation of success from there. And then maybe eventually as you grow, you grow globally like Dave Asprey has done. So thinking about that, then we want to create packages that are going to meet our clients' needs as well as meet our financial needs. And we want to be able to communicate this with confidence and in an organized way. So I suggest having 2 to 3 standard package offerings that are going to reflect how you work as a practitioner so that you have, as some business trainings might call it, your signature system or your signature approach on how you do your work that is duplicatable and always ends in results, right? And so when we do this, it helps us when we get into a consultation conversation with a client where we are building value in the services and the things that we do. We're listening to them, what their needs are. And at the end, we can, in an organized way, confidently then share with them what the opportunities are to work with us, which makes the decision-making process easy for them. And that is one of the most important pieces of this. Most of our people that are coming to us, they feel overwhelmed like your parents that you work with, right, Piper? They
Yeah.
have brain fog. They have a distrust in, the traditional medical approaches that they maybe have already tried or health approaches that they've already tried. So the last thing that we want to do is confuse them. We want to make it as simple as possible. We want to be a guide or a leader for them in this area to say, this is what I know works, and I've seen it work with the clients that I've worked with. And also, like, this is what I know is going to work for you. Now, the advantages of being an FDN practitioner are that we have a huge long-standing community behind us that is proof that our approach works. And then with our packages, what we're doing is we're taking that FDN approach and that FDN philosophy and principles, and now we're taking that and we're packaging it up to say, here's the lab test that we offer, and here's how many coaching sessions, we can and work together on to help you get the results that you're looking for. And maybe we blend some of our other skill sets in there. Like, I'm also trained in neurolinguistic programming as a transformational coach. So my largest package is a reflection of that. It has 18 coaching sessions where I do lab testing, and then we have coaching sessions to address the lab testing specifically and the lifestyle, like diet changes, sleep changes that they're going to make. But then I also have a bulk of sessions in there that are specifically to address transformational change in terms of belief systems and the work that I do as an NLP practitioner as well. And so, but what's great about this is when we have these concise packages, we can now clearly say, like, here's option number 1, option number 2, and option number 3. And by the way, these options all look very similar to each other. They have slight differences, maybe in the number of tests that are offered or the number of coaching sessions, but we want them to have some similarity so that it's very easy for the client to, again, assess and make a decision. Like, think about whenever you go to purchase a service and there's options. So maybe a software service or maybe an insurance service, and there's different levels, and they sometimes will have, a nice like table or grid that will show you like, here's all the service offerings, here's the 3 different levels of programs that you can do, and then there's check boxes saying what's included. So from a visual perspective, it's really easy to say like, oh, well, if I go with the platinum option, I get everything. If I go with like the silver option, I get 50% of the things. And if I go with the basic plan, I only get like the basic things, right? So when we create our concise packages, we can also create some of these visual diagrams as well to go with it. So this also gives a visual tool to the client to help them with the decision-making process also. Again, we want to make it as easy as possible for them to assess and make a decision, which makes it easy for you to enroll them.
That was absolutely a game changer for me, was to put those together. It makes discovery calls super easy. I've got it pre-packaged. I can email it as a follow-up to my clients. So getting really clear, creating packages really kind of changed the way that I work as an
and
FDN.
it also benefits you internally in your work administratively, because now you've got a duplicatable workflow process so that you can create efficiency in your business and save yourself time. If you're constantly creating custom packages on the fly, one, you're going to be stumbling over your words, trying to calculate prices in a consultation. It comes across disorganized. And two, on the inside, of your work, like once you do sell that custom package, it's going to take you more time because you're like reinventing the wheel every single time you work with a client, instead of having a seamless workflow process that you move through.
Absolutely. So I see a lot of y'all watching. Joanna dropped the word client. You are going to get that amazing handout, Joanna. If you guys have questions for Jenn or myself, absolutely drop those below. We would love to answer those for you. And don't forget to drop the word client so that we can get you that 10 tips and tools for your online coaching business. And Jenn, that brings us to the final 3C. What is C number 3?
C number 3 is to be consistent. So this actually relates not only to finding clients, but also enrolling them. So when we're consistent, so we talked about C number 1 was that clear message, sharing that clear message. You want to be consistent about sharing it. I say, share your story relentlessly. Even if you think that people have heard it already, or the things that you have to share, sometimes people have to see or hear things 10 times in order for it to land with them or stick, or for them to realize that they need help, right? And also, especially if you're using social media or, blogging or emails and newsletters, whatever you're using, it also takes time for us to build trust and rapport with people. The topic of health is one of the most vulnerable topics out there for people to invest their money in. If you think about the difference of a car versus your health, it's very easy, like investing in a car, buying a new car for $50,000 or whatever it is these days. There's not as much emotion that's carried with that. When it comes to our health, it's very vulnerable because people have to admit that they need help, that there's something wrong. There's sometimes shame and guilt that's carried with that. So we have to build a relationship with people in order to build this rapport and trust, to break through that vulnerability and to create a safe space for them to reach out to us and ask for help. So the easiest way for you to do that is to consistently share your story and your clear message with them. It gives them comfort. This is why, things like AA groups work, right? One of the things that is so effective about an AA group is, in any type of program that you might be working with, is a sense of community, is being able to go to a group and be like, I'm not the only one. I feel like I belong here. So we want our potential clients to get a sense of that with us too. And then it's also important to be consistent once you're working with somebody. And that consistency then equates to, providing exceptional service. And as I always say, is that exceptional service sells itself. When you can be consistent with how you show up with a client, with providing them great customer service, this exceptional service, they are going to then go out and rave about you. Tell everybody that they know about you and how amazing you are and how you show up and provide all this valuable, guidance and accountability and support and resources for them. And that in turn is then going to create these referrals for you, or these people are then going to become your biggest cheerleaders on, your social media platforms, which is going to help you get more engagement and traction there too. So it's important to be consistent in the front end of your business and your marketing, to be sharing your clear story. And then on the back end, once the client is enrolled with you, to retain them as a client and also to easily get referrals as a result of the service that you're providing.
Love it. So will you recap what those three C's are?
So the three C's were to 1, share a clear message. 2 was to offer concise packages. And 3 was to be consistent.
Thank you, Jen, so much. Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I'll just say that these principles that we've shared today are the foundations of your business. It's part of the essentials that every business needs. Every business, if you look out there, has a clear message. Like, look at something like Apple products or Nordstrom. Like, look at the services and things that you invest your money in, and you'll find that they all have a clear and consistent message that they share always. And that they also have very concise offerings, like what it is that they provide for you, right? And so these are so important for your business. And even if you're somebody who's in business already, one of the things that I suggest is that you review these things on an annual or maybe semi-annual basis, because they can change over time. As somebody who's been in business for over 6 years as a practitioner myself, had a very successful business, this is something that I sit down and I review every year annually. And I have noticed an evolution in the type of clients that I'm attracting as I evolve as a person. There's also been moments when things have gone off the rails. Like, there was a time frame where I was all of a sudden attracting people that had a little bit more of a victim mentality, and they weren't ready or willing or able to invest in my offerings. And I had to go back and look at, okay, what is the messaging that I am sharing here? And when I tweaked that messaging, my business went right back on track. So if you're feeling stuck, like if you're not attracting the right people per se, definitely really look at how you can apply what we've talked about today in your business. If you're struggling to enroll clients, maybe you're getting the consultation scheduled, but people aren't enrolling, look at your concise package offerings and how they're being delivered and if it's organized. And when you tighten up in these places, I guarantee you it'll lead to greater success for you and your business.
I love that advice. I think that's fantastic. And so that is something that I am going to do. Maybe not today, but sometime after the first of the year, I'm definitely going to do my own review. Thank you, Jen, for joining me today and sharing the 3 C's. For those of you watching or watching the replay, make sure to drop the word client below so that we can send you the 10 tips and tools for your online coaching business. And I will be back next week. Reed will be joining me. And I hope that everybody has a happy new year, and we will see you guys in 2021.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Happy New Year.
Bye, everybody.